Hello guys, welcome back to the live stream. Hope you guys are doing well. I'm just going to see what little Zazu wants here. Okay, Zazu. Not too sure what little Zazu wants, but we have a lot of drilling going on next door, guys. So hopefully that doesn't end up being too much of a problem for us. It's been going since this morning, so maybe they're going to take a break soon, which will be lovely. But yeah, it has been super annoying. The Goldies are doing great today though. They uprooted both their plants, unfortunately. So you guys can see their plants floating around. It's an endless struggle, guys. I want to give them plants. I want to give them a nice tank with lots of natural elements and things. But goldfish just have this thing where they love uprooting things, guys, and they love eating plants. So we'll see if I can sustain everything. Plants are very expensive, so I can't afford to just keep replacing them. So if they keep eating them, we'll have to figure something out. Do you want to come, Zazie? What do you want to be? Do you want to be with me? You can be with me if you want to. Hi! Look, guys, we've got little Zazu. I'm doing good, Dilsabel. How are you? Welcome, Sigruvalot. Hello, Cacti. How are you? Look at little Zazu. He's so cute, guys. Friggin' cute. So freaking cute. He's just so chill. He just wants to be part of the stream, guys. Part of the stream. Don't you, Zazu? You just want to be with us. So adorable. You haven't been around in some while. Exactly. We haven't seen you for a while. But I have been rather sporadic with the streams, Cacti. So, I've been very on and off streaming this month because, guys, my grandma is only here for another 2 weeks. I'm heartbroken. Really heartbroken. I'm already thinking how I can go visit her when she returns. But it won't be until next year, if I can. So, guys, it's horrible. It's horrible living so far from loved ones. But she needs to go back home, guys. So I'm making the most of the time that I have with her at the moment, which means streams have been only on some days as I can handle them. But yeah, hello, House. How are you? How are you doing today? I haven't seen you in a while. Okay, so guys, we are going to get the drawing tools out. And we're going to be working on the goldfish drawing that I did yesterday because my little goldfish needs a lot more shading. She just doesn't quite feel like she's come to life just yet. So I am going to make sure that she does. We're going to give her lots and lots of shading, guys. You've been good? Well, indeed. Hope I'm well. Thank you. I'm good. I'm good. Definitely has. I'm glad you've been well. That is none other than Dover. None other than Dover. We all know that. How are you, Dover? How are you doing today? Zazu, are you happy? Are you happy? Want to say hi to the stream? Say hello. Say hi. Hi. I feel like half the time with a parrot, you end up parroting them and not the other way around. It was an okay work day, which means tomorrow will be hell. Oh my gosh. Dover, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Do you have a lot to catch up on tomorrow? How did your raid with the friend go yesterday? You said you were helping a friend do a raid. How did that go? So guys, this blank piece of nothing. This blank piece of nothing is our artwork for the day, guys. Just give me a sec. Give me a sec, guys. go. Got it working, guys. Got it working. Heck yeah, heck yeah. There we go. So we've got our Zaza, I can't draw with you on my arm like that. You're gonna have to sit on my shoulder. She's now rank 100. Yes. We can do the same if I'm free anytime soon. So I'd love to Dover, but like I said, the next 2 weeks, I don't know. I don't know if I will be gaming much. I'm using the little time I have to work, and every other moment I have free, I'm with my grandma. So, unfortunately, probably not, but August, 100%. Also, I was talking to Scal last night. I told him what you told me about the easy raids, and he's really excited. He said that he'd love to do that with his ghoul character and his girl character. So he's got two characters other than his main, and he would love to level those up. So I think he's definitely going to take you up on your offer. But yeah. Jenny, hello! Jenny, how are you? My latest patron. How are you? Jenny, I've been meaning to message you on Patreon. And I'm really sorry that I haven't. It's actually been a really chaotic past week for me. Last Friday, I was incredibly unwell, and my blood pressure dropped like a lot. So yeah, it wasn't a good time. We didn't end up going to hospital because it wasn't serious enough, but my health hasn't been good, I'm not gonna lie, guys. So because of that and me being packed with a ton of things, August will be when things are back to normal, guys, I promise. But I will message you probably later today, Jenny, about just an introduction about everything going on Patreon and what you can look forward to seeing on there. Because I know that sometimes like you guys pledge to me on Patreon, but you may not necessarily know what is going on there. So I feel like it's always helpful to just give you guys a little bit of an intro and knowing where to find things on there. But the main things on Patreon are the postcards. So you will be getting a monthly postcard from me. Just make sure that you filled in your postal address on Patreon, which it probably won't let you pledge until you have. And then also you will be receiving early access to all my posts on Patreon. I will also post updates on my story of Poogie and Phoebe. So there is a story I'm working on of a little piglet. You should already have access to the full progress of that story in past posts. So if you want to go through that, that is exclusively on Patreon. You cannot get that on Instagram. And oh my gosh, guys, Brisk is here. Please go check out Brisk. I don't actually know Brisk. So Dover, do you want to give an explanation of Brisk is a DJ? Wait, did we get raided? Or what happened? Are you just shouting out Brisk? Sorry, I'm a little bit lost. Brisk, we don't know you, but we love musicians on this stream. Any creative streams, we love supporting those. So guys, please go check out Brisk. It's very rare that we get music streamers in here. There's been a couple. So you just fell in here. Sorry, I'm a bit all over the place today. But welcome, welcome. You're meeting him for the first time too. Heck yeah. Well, it's always lovely to have more creatives in here. So guys, today so yesterday I shaded the head portion of my little Goldie. Today we're going to be working on the little body and hopefully shade this part as well, so it all looks nice in 3D. Eventually this whole thing is going to become an oil painting. So I'm just doing this sketch at the moment, trying to get it all together, and then we're going to transfer this onto a canvas and we will paint this one. You believe you have a new address to the Patreon. Okay, cool, cool. I have a couple of you guys that have been moving. including Dover. And so I've been trying to message all of you guys. I think there's about like 4 or 5 of you guys that have been moving recently. Either some of you that I've done commissions for, or some of you are my patrons. And I've been messaging you guys, trying to keep track of when everyone's moving, when I need to send to the new addresses. And I'm so sorry because I failed Dover. Dover has moved, but unfortunately I sent everything out to Dover's old address. So hopefully that can all still be cleared up. But yes, if you guys do know exactly when you need me to send it to the new addresses, if you do move, just send me a message, because obviously it can be tricky for me to know, because sometimes people have mail forwarding set up. I know that I used to. I'm in South Australia, Brisk. Are you Australian as well? I gotta make sure I follow you so we can raid. What time do you normally stream? Because we'd love to raid you if we can. I actually grew up in Brisbane, Brisk. I grew up in Brisbane and then we moved to Perth, moved back to Brisbane. We moved to Melbourne and now I'm in South Australia. So I'm a bit all over the place. Oh, guys, you know what we should do? We should ask Brisk. What's that word again? I don't want to say it because that kind of ruins the test. What's Brisk? What would you call these little potato things that are covered in bread crust when you buy them from like a fish and chip shop or whatever? I don't want to say the word because that was part of the thing. Apparently every state in Australia calls those something different. And because I have lived pretty much throughout all of Australia, I don't actually know what they're supposed to be called anymore because I've seen them called pretty much everything. You're usually around on 6 p.m. Ah, you're from the UK, moved to Melbourne, then Brisbane. Nice. What made you move to Brizzy? So let's get started on this little one, guys. So you're going to be a problem. You're going to be loud and obnoxious today. So guys, I actually found, as you guys have probably seen in my Instagram updates, I have tropical fish. They are mollies. And so not the fish behind me, but my other tank. My second tank has mollies in, and a few days ago I discovered that they had babies, and mollies are live bearing fish, guys, so they don't actually lay eggs, they just have babies pretty much live. The great potato cake argument thing, scallops or whatever. Okay, so you call them scallops? It is that thing. I don't know why does every state in Australia apparently call them something else? Apparently you can figure out where someone lives in Australia just by what they call those things. But I always say to people, I don't think you can pinpoint where in Australia I'm from because I have lived equally in pretty much every state. Like I spent the same amount of time living in Melbourne as I did living in Queensland, as I did now living in South Australia. So yeah, I always feel like when people try to pinpoint that, I'm like, good luck with that. So how long have you been in Australia for, DJ? It looks like airplane pilots do anything they can to make up for lost time. Your parents' flight is arriving a bit sooner, so you think you have to head out early. You'll annoy me later. No worries, Dover. Don't be late for them. And tell them I said hi. Please tell them I said hi. Oh my goodness, Xavier's throwing a tantrum. I will be right back. Let's go. It's just the drilling. It's okay. I think he's scared of all the drilling going on next door because we've got quite a bit of drilling. Um, there we go. We need this. We need you to point down, please. There we go. I don't want you pointing in my face. Just point on my artwork. Thank you. There we go. That's a bit better. More light on art. I've got too much glare on me already as it is. The lighting isn't great today, guys. I don't know why we have so much lighting issues today. It is really weird. That does help. 12 years now, fully fledged citizen. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. Have you, like, do you feel like you ever want to go back, or are you just happy here now? I can't imagine living anywhere other than Australia. Oh my gosh, guys, so I'm planning a trip to Singapore later this year for a friend's wedding. And I was just, my brother and I were talking about it last night, and I found out that you're not even allowed to chew gum or even have gum in Singapore. Like, even just having gum on you is apparently illegal and you can be in prison for it. I was just like, oh my gosh. Yeah, exactly. No gum in Singapore. You can actually go to prison for having gum, selling gum, or chewing gum. They don't want gum in Singapore. Like, apparently it's not even sold there. It's completely illegal. I'm just like, I get smoking, but gum? Like, seriously? Yeah. So it just, I was reading through all the rules and I was like, okay. One of the things I'm really nervous about now is filming. Like, if they have such strict laws against gum, what are their laws like on public filming? You know, like in Australia, when we go out, I don't know, I've lived here all my life, so I'm pretty, I feel like I'm pretty confident about what I'm allowed to do and what not when I go out in public. And now I'm just starting to second guess everything I know. This is my first time going overseas, and obviously Singapore isn't like a Western, you know, a Western country. It is pretty modern, so I had thought that they would have fairly Western rules. I did know they're very strict on, you know, keeping things clean and that sort of thing, but I wasn't aware that they have these weird rules about gum. So, yeah. We'll have to read up a little bit about that. It's super clean there. Have you been there, Brisk? Like, actually out of the airport? Because when I was younger, my parents were there, and they didn't leave the airport. I don't think they were allowed to or something. Part of the, you know, the situation when you just make a stop there versus actually go to visit. But I was so young, I was like 2 years old, so I don't remember anything about Singapore. I do love that they have such strict laws on, you know, keeping things clean and not littering. I don't feel like that is such a hard thing to do. I mean, I don't feel like I've ever littered. Not that I can remember. Maybe by accident one or two times. You know, if a thing flew away in the wind or something. I feel like if that sort of thing happens, they can't really charge you for that. Like, what happens in Singapore if you've got like a wrapper on you and the wind just takes it and you can't catch it? Like, are you going to be in prison because of that, or is it just like intentional littering? You have not left the airport, however. You have friends there. Okay. Um, do you feel like they ever talk about it being a super strict place, or not really? Like, I always thought Singapore was pretty chill, just because it's kind of like a stopping zone for pretty much all the Western countries to come to Australia. Everything pretty much goes through Singapore first. So I imagined it just being a very tourist friendly country, a very, I guess, Western influenced country, but I suppose I'm wrong. I was also looking up the different religions that the country maintains, and it was like predominantly Buddhist and Hindu, apparently. Um, so yeah, I don't know where the whole chewing gum thing comes from, whether that's like a religious thing or just like a societal thing. But yeah, it was interesting. They're big on gum. Also, they don't like any, apparently they don't like any public display of affection. Um Now, like my husband and I, we don't actually like enjoy smooching in public or anything like that, but we will often just give each other like a peck on the cheek or, just a quick kiss or whatever. And I'm just now wondering, like, is that okay? Like, can we get in prison for that? What can we do over there? Like, everything feels different now. You have not left the airport, however, your friends there. Do you guys think that in most of these Middle Eastern countries, like I know Singapore isn't a Middle Eastern country, but that chewing gum would be allowed there as well? Or do they have rules about that too? Has anyone ever been to one of those Middle Eastern countries? As far as you know, the chewing gum thing is basically because you might spit it out, i.e. litter. But if you're conscious about it, like you won't litter, and you wrap it up, clean it up, and just chuck it away, is it just they feel like gum just causes too much issue and they don't even want to have it, don't even want to deal with it? You've not really discussed it too much with your friends, to be honest, but now you feel that you have questions you need to ask. Yeah, like I'd love to know from someone who's been living there for a long time what is okay in terms of public affection. Like, is hugging okay? Is kissing just like a quick peck okay? It's interesting. I always tell myself I probably wouldn't feel comfortable going to, you know, countries where women are required to wear the whole like head coverings. Not because I find it so uncomfortable to wear head coverings, but just because I feel like I don't really want to go to any country where my rights as a female are incredibly compromised. And I feel like those countries just, I don't feel free and I don't feel safe. So I probably wouldn't go to a country like that ever. I'm sure the local people are fine, but it's more just the authorities, what they might do. I guess living in Australia, I've kind of just always taken freedom for granted so much because we are very, very blessed to be so free. And, as an Australian citizen, like I read up as well, if you do get imprisoned in Singapore, you actually have to spend about 48 hours in prison where you can't call anybody, you can't call a lawyer, um, you just have completely no access to any outside contact. And they can choose to do that to you for very, very minor infractions, apparently, over there. So it's pretty freaky. Like, I'm not planning to do anything, and I feel like in Australia, there's been times when maybe, I drove in the wrong way, or I don't know, maybe one or two occasions I jaywalked, which also is not allowed in Singapore. But when a policeman sees you doing something wrong in Australia, and it's like a minor infraction, generally they'll just let you know. particularly because a lot of the time people don't always know they've done something wrong. Um, and so I'm just now wondering, like, do you even get that kind of chance in Singapore? Like, will cops be understanding with you? Or are they just, I don't know, very stringent about everything? Yeah, I'm really looking forward to going though. There's apparently this night zoo that you can get to see. It's very close to the airport, supposedly, and it's a really beautiful experience. My grandma got to see it, and we've had a couple of people recommend that one to us, so we're definitely going to go see the night zoo. I don't know what it's called exactly. I've just been told to go see the night zoo. um, so really keen to see that, and they have a lot of cool structural, architectural structures near the airport that looks like an alien garden or something. That'll be really cool. I do know Charles. Yeah, Charles was actually one of the first friends I made on Twitch, and I have mad respect for Charles as an artist. He's freaking amazing. I'm just gonna turn down my lights a little bit, guys, because I feel like they're just a little too much right now. I think that should be a little bit less intense, I hope. Just like super bright. I think because it's a really overcast day. It's been raining a little bit, but yeah, mostly it's just super overcast, and I think it's affecting how much glare there is on my face. But yeah, I love Charles, guys. Um, his work is incredible. It's kind of sad because he deleted a bunch of his older posts on Instagram for good reason, because of all the AI stuff that's been happening. But you used to be able to see tons of his work on there, and now you see a lot less. Yeah, his work's incredible. Jen, hello, how are you? Charles is a member of your stream. Nice dude, heck yeah. I'm guessing Charles is really into your music. I know that Charles supports a lot of musicians on here. Also, Brisk, if you have any musicians you would like to recommend that we could follow, particularly ones that might stream in our time zone, that would be lovely. Because yeah, we love to raid fellow artists and creatives, and to me, musicians are also creatives, so we prefer raiding fellow creatives. But yeah, if you guys have traveled, what's your favorite place you've been to? If you could go one place again that you've been to, where would it be? Haven't seen Charles in a while. Is he doing well? He was on some time ago, but he's definitely streaming a lot less than he has been. Um, I haven't checked in on him for a while. I've been messaging in his Discord, but things seem rather quiet on that. Germany? Yeah, where's that? I would love to see Germany, for both the castles and just the language. Like, I love the German language. It's so freaking cool. Probably Japan for you. You need to get back there soon. Japan is 100% at the top of my list as well. I love just the like the cute culture, like the kawaii culture they've got over there. There's like a lot of plushies, a lot of just cartoony figures and characters. And they even have shops that, cosplay, which is super cool. I love all the technology you get to see, which is a huge show of display. And they have a couple places that I really want to see, like Bunny Island, Cat Island, where you can basically go and just interact with, an island full of rabbits that just live there. Um, so that's awesome. And I think they have beautiful nature as well if you go seek that out. You got to go when you were younger and you feel like you would just appreciate it that much more as an adult and be able to do more things that you'd like to and not just stick with the itinerary they gave you as kids. Yeah. So, did you go with your family? Because I feel like sometimes, yeah, that's I traveled across Australia with my parents when we were younger, when we moved, and we drove all the way from Brisbane to Perth, Perth to no, actually, only from Perth to Brisbane, Brisbane to Melbourne, other way around. Um, so we drove through the Nullarbor, and obviously, because you're just going with your parents, you're not really like seeking out things that you may want to see. But your parents do try to, think about what you'd find cool, so animal things and that stuff. I think right now, if I had money to just go see one country and I wasn't allowed to go visit multiple countries in Europe, I would definitely go to Japan. But I think Europe is at the top of my list because I want to see the old cathedrals, I want to see the castles. I love the languages, and I don't know. I've always found Europe very fascinating. There's also a lot of art to see there. I feel like the museums I've been to and art galleries I've been to in Australia haven't been all that great. So I know that France is definitely the art central of the world, and I really love to one day go see, you know, the Louvre and many other places that showcase a lot of art. You love traveling in general to new places. You are, however, biased as you have an amazing friend who you love to visit in Norway. So, for revisiting, you would say Norway. Is that just because of your friend, or is that because of the country? You went to the Czech Republic around 7 years ago, but you feel like you missed out on so much because you couldn't speak the language. You've been studying again, and it'd be great to go again for a longer time to get fluent and just kind of immerse yourself. I think that's definitely a really important thing when you're going to a different country. Um, and that's probably a big reason why I would go to Europe first or want to go to Europe so badly because I actually speak French and German, and I really enjoy just hearing it around me and getting that opportunity to actually be able to speak the language with locals, ask for something in the language. That's super exciting. You've been visiting since the. I might actually just wait for the ad to be over because I don't know if you guys can actually hear me. Stupid ads. You love Asia in general, would really love to visit Japan and Korea and the Philippines. Have you been to Asia? You do also actually love it there, although aside from the precious friend. Um, what's the Norwegian language? Is it just Norwegian? Do you speak any of it? You've been visiting since the 90s with DJ tours. You love the place and have many friends there. You also collect Japanese tattoos and have some work from Osaka whilst on a visit there. Unfortunately, I don't know tattoo artists very well, so I'm guessing this person is really prominent. I think it's really cool people who travel for really good tattoo artists because I think there's definitely like a difference in skill from, just your local tattoo artist to someone who has obviously grown themselves into a really established artist. And I love that people seek out these tattoo artists for their specific style as well. Going to Malta on Friday. Ooh, that's exciting. You never actually traveled with your parents. Your father never wanted to fly and he was really grumpy and he didn't like anything. So you prioritize going on vacation at least once a year with your son. That is so cool. That is super cool. We got to do, when I was younger, we got to do many trips. So I'm definitely very lucky, I guess. Which is funny because I'm not actually a big travel person. Like, given the chance, I don't think I would probably go anywhere. And I think it's still really important to have a balance and make memories, to do that sort of thing. See different places. So I've always found it really enriching when I've had the opportunity to do that. So I think it matters. You can hear me? Ads are different on mobile. Really? France, the art center of the world? Who says that though? Well, the reason I say that is historically, art definitely has been like, you look at a lot of artists and they are, very much from France. Like, you've got Germans, you've got Dutch people as well, but a lot of the art history was very much dictated by what was going on in France at the time, like particularly in the Renaissance period, and post-Renaissance period still. But I think nowadays the reason it's still very much the art central, at least in my view, is because a lot of the most prominent art pieces are kept there. Like you know, the Mona Lisa, a lot of Van Gogh's artwork. And for example, in the art gallery we have in Australia, we don't often get those rotated here. We don't see those here very often. So if you want to get to see those, you have to actually go to Europe. Particularly France has most of them. You speak a tiny bit of Norwegian. Yes, nice. Hi, Stumpy. How are you? Are you going to contribute with your intense conversational skills today? You do speak a bit of many languages as you are Dutch and used to study international business and languages. That is so cool. Do you what kind of languages do you feel like you're fairly confident in, I guess is the question. Because like it's such a hard question. Which languages do you speak? Because like, do you say a few words in one, but which ones do you feel fairly confident in, I guess? There's not that much Van Gogh there, is there? Probably not in France, I'd say. It's probably most of that is kept in Germany, I guess. Or the Netherlands. Wait, now I completely forgot. I feel like an idiot. Was Van Gogh... Van Gogh was Dutch, wasn't he? Not German. I feel like every Dutch or German person right now is going to be heavily disappointed in me. I'm truly sorry, guys. Let me check. He was Dutch. He was Dutch. Van Gogh is very much Dutch. There we go. You don't know if it's just you, but it's so difficult to keep up with a language if you can't get out of it, can't get use out of it on a regular basis. You learn Swedish 3 times, extremely similar to Norwegian. You mean it's easier every time, but a lot of stuff leaves your head if you don't have regular use for it. I completely agree, Has. My French has become so rusty that recently my grandma asked me to just like randomly say something in French, and I was like, I don't bloody know what to say. I feel like I'm just blank and I can't say a single thing. And then as I was just like driving about through the day, in my head, I was trying to just translate random things, like translate what I'm doing, translate what I'm thinking. And even though I was second guessing myself, I checked myself up and I was correctly translating all these things. Like it was in my head. It just doesn't come to mind, you know, as spontaneously as a language you're very much fluent in. So I started doing this thing for myself, just going through daily flashcards every single morning. And I've been doing that now for probably the last 2 months. It's really helpful. Make a list of flashcards for yourself and just go through those regularly. The other thing I would suggest is I regularly read in French, at least, you know, a small portion every day. So that definitely helps. And another thing I would suggest is I am part of a Discord community where you can randomly hop on and just talk to someone in that language. And they generally have different channels for different skill levels. So in one channel, if you are going to join in on that channel, you have to talk very slowly. So rather than talking like this with you guys, I would have to talk super slowly when I am speaking in that channel. So it helps people who, you know, are trying to learn and get better. And then they have these, you know, different levels. One is for like pretty much native speakers where you can speak at any pace that you want to. So doing that is really, really helpful. Paul, hello. Thank you for the follow. Welcome, little cops. How are you doing? Guys, can you hear the drilling? Is that really loud for you guys? There's a lot of drilling going on next door, guys. He cut off part of his ear. Oh, there's not that much Venmo. Oh my gosh. I love it, Brisk. I love it. Maybe Jin didn't intend to make that joke, but it's hilarious now. I completely forgot. What was the reason he cut off his ear again? Did he just get that angry? My grandpa, guys, my grandpa actually bit off a piece of a donkey's ear. He got so angry at this donkey for not wanting to move, so he bit the donkey's ear off, like a piece of it. I'm just like, what the heck? My grandpa had anger issues, not my mum's grandpa. I never met this grandpa. I didn't even know this grandpa. He passed away, I think, before I was even born. But the stories I'm told of this grandpa are horrifying. It's like, who bites off a piece of a donkey's ear? Whew. So it was about that. Sorry, your brain went. You're not talking to a dead person, so surely he didn't mean that. It got slightly insane. Yeah. You really should do something to keep up with your language skills, particularly being able to speak with people who are into helping others learn would help a lot. So if you speak French, German, or Spanish, I'm happy to chat with you. Otherwise, obviously, I don't speak whichever language you're trying to learn, unfortunately. Swedish, you said, I think. If there's any others you're keen on, I'd be happy to just language chat with you. One of my mods, Spark, is actually learning Japanese now, and I've wanted for a while to tackle Japanese, but I just currently, right this minute, this month, don't have time, so I might have to leave that for another day. But yeah, I think we should maybe, if there's like a lot of you guys trying to learn French or German or Spanish or like one of the common ones or Japanese, we should start like language channels on Discord where you guys can just interact with each other in said language. That would be super awesome. Then we could all help each other learn. Who would that be? Probably one of the best language courses I've ever found was the in 3 months one. I think it's written by or created by the publisher DK. So French in 3 months, German in 3 months. The reason I love those books so much is because they very much focus on the grammar. I find that a lot of the time, most language courses, they just start teaching you words, and I'm just like, if you don't know how to use words or create sentences, you're never going to be able to actually, speak the language. You're just going to have a bunch of words that you can sound like a tourist. You could be like, I could say this word. Well, that's cool and all, but can you create it like a sentence with the word? Not really. And that I find a problem with pretty much most language courses. Uh, Vincent cut off part of his ear after an argument with another artist. He went on to check himself into therapy. Oh my gosh, what the heck? Why would you cut off your ear? Just because you argued about with another artist? What the heck? Oh my gosh. I think most artists are at least a little bit messed up though. I think that just goes with being a creative. Like we're channeling a lot of pain and emotion, maybe positive, maybe negative, but channeling a lot of emotion on a continual basis. And we need to allow that to be felt and be released and actually be activated. And so I think a lot of artists tend to reflect on our emotions a lot more. I don't know. I actually find art to be very therapeutic though. I find that art helps process emotions in a more healthy way. Like sometimes if I have found if I don't make art, I'm a lot more likely to just explode than if I'm making art. I find art such a calm way to let tension get relieved. The fish is coming out so cute. You're obsessed. Thank you, Jenny. Thank you. This one is definitely going to be an oil painting. I've already decided. It is just way too cute. Sometimes I feel like I handpick certain sketches to become oil paintings for different reasons. This one, I just think I can already envision it with a nice smooth water background, and I think it's just going to come out so nice. So it's definitely going to be an oil painting. You're fluent in Dutch and quite fluent in English. German people say your German is really good. Cool. Jen, I would love to just like chat with you in German if you don't mind. Like just have like casual conversations. Um, I can actually understand Dutch as well. Even though I can't speak it and I can't write it, I can completely understand it. And that's pretty funny because so my parents actually came from South Africa, and I was actually born there. Um, so then they moved to Australia when I was 2 years old, and around the house they always spoke a language called Afrikaans. So at home, I always heard my parents speak it, but so when I am chatting to my mom, typing to my mom, I will chat to her in Afrikaans, but to my brother, I will chat in English. And because of that, I obviously, Dutch and Afrikaans are two very, very similar languages to the point where when I read Dutch, I can completely understand, but when Dutch is spoken, if it's too fast, I can't really follow. There's art and cathartic. Exactly, exactly. A lot of them have you memorizing phrases, and yeah, basically what you're saying. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You suck at French and Spanish, your brain just erased those, but it'll probably come back fairly quickly if you use it. Yeah. I think you would pick it up very quickly. Have you ever been to France? You'd have no body parts left. One must have chaos in oneself to give birth to a dancing star. That is probably the most beautiful quote. Where is that from? I love that quote. I'm gonna save that. Is that just something you made up? Has? That is so freaking beautiful. I love that. I'm gonna save that. It's too beautiful. Imagine going insane from noises that are inside your head and there is no way to stop it. You're extremely depressed and far from stable or sober. You're also very alone. Everyone thinks you're a weirdo. Your brother is on the other side of the world. Yep. Just because his paintings are worth a lot these days doesn't mean he was appreciated in his life. Oh, yeah, he was completely not appreciated. It's, to me, it's one of the saddest things is that a lot of the greatest artists we've ever had, they never felt appreciated. They never saw their art become anything meaningful. It's so sad. The Van Gogh Museum also has a lot of letters he used to write to his brother. Aww. Did he miss his brother a lot? It's funny. Dutch Afrikaans is literally Dutch, just more fun. Oh my gosh, really? Is that what you guys think? I once heard that Dutch people think Afrikaans is sounds like uh the French have this saying, you speak Dutch like you speak French like a Spanish cow. And the Dutch people generally say that Afrikaans people sound like drunk Dutch people. Or at least that's what I've been told. You thought Dutch was based on Afrikaans? No, it's the other way around. Afrikaans is based on Dutch. Dutch people went to Africa, South Africa, and they had a group of French people, a group of German people, and a group of Dutch people, and they all came together to basically create a new language, so to speak, to some degree. But predominantly, it's just basically Dutch with a little bit of a mix. You can see the French influence in it, and you can also see a little bit of German influence in it, but predominantly it's basically just Dutch. You know, we did this thing called colonization. Exactly. Exactly. But the Dutch people who went to Africa were actually really good. They bought the land from the native people, they paid the native people. and they treated the native people very, very well. It was when the British people came in that slave trade became a thing. The Dutch people didn't start that whole deal. So the Dutch were actually really nice to the natives. They weren't just money grabbers. I wonder how many other places the Dutch people settled around the world, like colonized. I know that the British did a lot of different countries. They were like the Romans. They were spread so thin eventually they couldn't maintain it all. Can say Estonian sounds like drunk Finnish, really? Afrikaans is based on Dutch because you had boats. Exactly. Indonesia was pretty big for the Dutch. Oh, the Dutch settled Indonesia, really? Very, very well. We weren't that great. We were something, but the ones that came after were always worse. Um, as, as far as I know, you guys weren't terrible when you settled Africa. Okay, pretty sure you guys actually treated the natives really well, but US Brits were ruthless back in the day. Savage, exactly. Yeah. Oh, us Brits, US Brits, us Brits. Yeah, the British people. Oh my God. Well, they started the whole slave trade thing, in Africa, and that was horrible. And then they sold these poor people all around the world. I wonder who was the first person in history to see a black human being and be like, this is not a human being. This is an animal. Like who made that decision initially? Like, I don't know. Like, did you not just spend some time with said person and, see that this person is thinking on a similar level as you? I don't know. Who did that? Who started slave trade? You invented the word apartheid. They didn't start it, you kept them in zoos. What, the natives? Black people. So I don't know about that. I never heard of that before, Jin. That does sound really sad. Got about almost an hour left to go at this point, I think. Also, if you guys haven't already, it would mean a lot if you guys could subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'll post a link in the chat. Wait, there we go. Because I'm trying to currently grow on YouTube very actively. I don't know why that link did not go through. I'll try this one. Doesn't look like any of my links are working at the moment, guys. Let's try. You'd stack them like stock on boats, like you wouldn't even treat an animal like that. The Dutch weren't nice. Well, my apologies. I thought they were generally nice. I'm sorry. There we go. That one worked. Like, none of my Steam Deck things are working. But yeah, guys, it would really mean a lot if you guys could subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already, because I'm trying to grow on there, and yeah, it isn't easy, but I'm making videos every month now of my art journey, basically things that inspire my art, what I've been up to that month, the challenges of my projects, the challenges of running my shop, and everything else. Basically, just everything it entails to be an artist. So you get to see a little behind the scenes art vlog on there. And I share a lot that obviously you guys don't get to see here on Twitch. So if you want to see a little bit more, that is all on my YouTube channel, guys. I've always found the wing part of a goldfish to kind of be the hardest thing to draw. Thank you, Haz. I appreciate that. Thank you. I think they finally stopped drilling, guys. It's nice and peaceful now. You thought you already did. You didn't, but you fixed that. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. No worries. See you later, Brisk. Thank you so much for stopping by. We'll definitely check you out when we see you live. Tiny little goldfish fin. It's so cute, guys. So cute. I don't reckon we have enough people probably trying to learn French and German to start a Discord channel for each of those languages. I don't know. Like, I guess I could try to take a poll, but Whether everyone will see it, that's the question. So I don't reckon we have enough people in this community interested in language learning. Oh no, guys, the drilling is back. I can hear the drilling. No. You'd like to learn both French and German one day, but it's like you'd like to do 99 things of which you can focus one at a time on, if that. Yeah. I feel like we definitely live in an age where so much education is accessible to us. We could we could put our brains to so many things at any given time. And I think that is both the blessing and the curse of our generation in particular. We are so overwhelmed by information at our fingertips, but unable to actually process all that information at once and do something with it. It's really hard, and I think that's also what definitely contributes to us feeling so guilty all the time. We see ourselves as lesser because we guilt ourselves with the knowledge that, hey, you've got access to all this language, this information, like on languages per se, on many things, but you aren't doing anything with it. And so we guilt ourselves on a daily basis for everything we could be doing but aren't doing with our lives. And at the same time, someone in, I don't know, the 18th century would probably not even have had access to, I don't know, maybe even a quarter of that information. And they lived happily. Probably, probably back then, I could have been the best artist in my whole city, most likely. Whereas nowadays, because we've got access to the internet, we can never have that same gratification as someone from that period could have had because, you could have been the best artist in town if you practiced. But now you have to compete with, and I say this, I don't even feel like art is something that you really compete in. It's probably a bad example. Probably a better example is an actually competitive career where you would get a job in that. But nowadays you have to compete with a lot more individuals around the world, and the whole internet is the competition, not just, you know, your local town or whatever. And I think that leads a lot of us to, feeling incompetent or not good enough or feeling like we'll never be good at something, even though we should just look at what we've already achieved. Um, you know, be proud of where you've come. Think about when you were younger. Would you have felt proud of creating or doing what you do now? And if the answer is yes, then most likely you've already achieved your life goals. I think in the past we had less comparison and less milestones for ourselves in that way. And so I think we, like, people in general probably lived a lot happier than they do now, just because they don't have that thief of joy hanging over their heads all the time. Also, the Dutch colonized Indonesia, hence you exist. Suriname and the Dutch Antilles, those are still Dutch though. New York, really. South Africa, that is on the top of your sleepy head. To catch up on German, you actually just join German streams from friends. That is so cool. Streams are also a fantastic way, yeah, to practice a language. Definitely. They also use a lot more slang. The French streams I've joined use a lot more slang than, um, a lot of the other sources that I get my French reading from or French listening from. So I always find that something that I need to particularly catch up on. I like how fuzzy her hair looks. Comparison is the thief of joy, you know the feeling, exactly. I remember when I was at uni and some of my art friends, we had this one guy in class and he was really insane, really good. He was completely devoted to his art. So he, definitely deserved um, the reward he got back out of art. But a lot of us would go to uni and I'm just going to turn this heater a little bit, guys. It's starting to go in my eyes a lot. But basically, guys, he was so good that he would come to class with like 3 finished projects in the time that we may do only like one. So it was really frustrating sometimes for some of us when we had put so much work in. And we got to class, and there's this one guy doing 3 times the work we do and at the same level. And some of my friends, they would come to class and look at him and go, I don't know, I think I should just give up on art. I'm never going to be as good as this guy. And I said to them, well, you may feel that way, but at the end of the day, the art that he makes is completely different from the art that you make. Your art is a completely different style, has a completely different message, a different theme. Your personalities are different. So if you decided to stop making art, to stop growing your skills and talent, just because this guy is currently better than you, the world is never going to see your brand or personality of art. And what he's doing is going to be completely different from what you are doing. So you're denying the world a beautiful gift if you decide to give up. And I've never felt like artists really compete. Like, yes, some of us grow in skill But obviously, there are so many different applications of that skill. You've got oil painting, watercolor, graphite illustration. The ways that we draw are different. It's so diverse that you cannot really go compare two artists and say this one is better than this one, because one of them is going to be better at a whole group of things that this one is not good at. You know, at the end of the day, we're all growing different areas at different levels. So I think art is just one of those things that you can't exactly say is comparable. I just don't think that it is. Nozomi, hello, thank you for the follow. Welcome. You can give the name, but you don't want. You got a lovely German artist friend. They also don't mind speaking English, but their community is generally German. But they're really nice, even if you don't speak German. Yeah, please drop them. I already follow one German artist who speaks German on her streams. So I don't know if this is the same person. Any planned sketches for Halloween coming up? I'm definitely doing Halloween again, as you know. It's my yearly favorite thing to do, so you bet, you bet. 100% I am. They draw dragons a lot, Unai Blue. I don't think I have seen them. Would you mind dropping the full link so I can just hit the follow button right now? I don't think I've seen them, no. People don't know that New York is actually named New Amsterdam before, hence all the districts and such still have Dutch names. Are you serious? That is such a cool fact I never knew. People also have these growth spurts at different times in their lives. Exactly has. It's that, and also it's really dependent on how much practice your circumstances allow. Some people, I've also seen some people say, oh, like, I'm not as good as this person. And I've often reminded these people who say that, well, okay, this person doesn't have all this other stuff going on in their life that you currently do. So you can't compare yourself in the same way. I think all of our circumstances are always going to be so different that you can't say that someone is or isn't better than you. You just got to look at the good things that they do, learn from it, and take that on board, but don't actually compare yourself. And I know that's really hard, you know, in our day and age with everything we've got going on, but it's all we can do, guys. Don't try just not to compare. It really is the thief of joy. Just do what you do and focus on things that you love. And I know this is probably like the most cliche thing. I remember when I started out, there were these artists that gave advice to new artists, right? And you always see this kind of stuff. And one of the things that kept coming up in all of these advice things was create art that is you, and you know, just do what you love, focus on that, don't try to please others. And I remember at the time listening to this advice and being like, well, okay, they're probably just saying that because they've already made it up there, they've already become like a mostly full-time artist or whatever, and now they're just wanting to tell you things that make you feel good, and not really give you any concrete advice. So I didn't really believe it at the time. But I think something, particularly in the last 2 years, that I started realizing is the more that you focus on things that have meaning to you, like for example, this little goldfish drawing, right? It's probably not going to be very popular. Not many people love goldfish like I do. There may be like small groups of people who love goldfish. And maybe a couple of Studio Ghibli fans will appreciate this drawing, but ultimately, it's not going to be a very popular drawing. And particularly over the last few years, I've stopped trying to draw things that will be popular. I've stopped trying to chase that because at the end of the day, I feel like art should be something that you bring something new to. If all artists just keep recreating what already exists, we're just gonna keep getting more and more regurgitated content. And I want art to be something that grows and expands our minds. So even though maybe my art won't be appreciated in the same way as it could if, let's say, I don't know, I drew Pokemon every day, or I don't know, I drew some other fan art. If I drew fan art every day, yes, it would grow a lot better. It would get more likes and probably more purchases as well. But at the end of the day, that's not the kind of art that I want to make. I didn't start this journey for it to be a financially prolific thing. I started this journey out of passion, and I wanted it to become a means for me to create art. And art for me, the definition of that is something that has to bring new thoughts to people, not just be regurgitated content. So it's funny, but you guys would be surprised how many people have come to me and said that they actually value these things. Yeah, it won't be like thousands and thousands of people like I would get if I did Pokemon art, but it's really special to see some of you guys appreciating the more unique things that I've created. And I think there is so much reward in that. So much reward. Alice! Oh my gosh! Thank you so much for the biddies! Alice, what the heck? I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Heck yeah. Thank you. Heck, I'll follow Renee. Jin, thank you. There we go. All followed. I don't think we'll ever get to raid Renee because of time zones, but I'm sure when I'm up at like 3 a.m. or something, I will get a chance to. I really appreciate those biddies, Alice. Thank you so much. You love the style I have? You have your eye on my stuffed rabbit and the big Halloween poster from last year. Oh, Jenny, thank you. The big Halloween poster ships in like a rolled tube, just so you're aware. The reason why is that is the most protected way I can send it because it is so long. Anything else, it will just fold over and bend. So when you get it, it will be wanting to do this sort of thing. What I generally do is I roll it the opposite way that it comes rolled in for about a day or so, and then it pretty much goes flat. But yeah, it's the safest way I'm able to ship it overseas. And the bunny is actually handmade by my mum. So all the proceeds of the bunnies go to her because that is her craft and her thing. She's really incredible. She's going to design more plushies of different characters that I've created soon. But yeah, we just need to get some more free time soon. So in August, my mum and I will be a lot more free to expand our attention on things like that. You saw she's so cute. My mum is amazing. She is so creative, guys. So creative. She's actually the reason that I became an artist as well. She got me into this whole addiction. So I owe it to her. But yeah, guys, it's still coming along. So I did a lot of shading here. I did some shading on the girl's hair and a little bit more detail on the wen of the goldfish. But we still need to do a couple more passes because obviously this isn't shaded. The bubbles need to be shaded. I think when I'm going to do an oil painting of this sketch, I will probably do a very faint, similar to how I did the Aurora Borealis in my yak painting behind me. Just a very faint sort of gradient to allude to the water. But I want to keep it fairly simple. I was wondering whether I do strands of like seaweed or something, but I feel like that'll disrupt the nice flow we've got. Everything is going more horizontal. So I'm thinking just very plain allusion to water in the background is probably the way to go. But we'll see. This is a project for another month because I first need to do the drawing and then I will start the oil painting. Thank you, Jen. For now though, guys, I'm going to have to raid. But before we do, if you guys want to support me, I'm pretty much a full-time artist here on Twitch, and I also run my own store, so I sell prints of my artwork, and also other merch and items relating to my artwork. So if you don't want to subscribe here on Twitch but still want to support me directly, buying from my store is a huge support. So I appreciate everyone who does that. The other way you can support me in the long run, guys, is through Patreon. On Patreon, I send you guys a monthly postcard, and you guys also get access to behind the scenes content and behind the scenes story that I'm working on a little piglet and a witch called Phoebe and Poogie. So if you're interested in that, please go check out my Patreon as well, guys. Also, if you haven't already, guys, I post a monthly vlog. I don't know why I was showing all the Discord puzzle bomb game things. I'm trying to get a puzzle game started for us on Discord, guys. My apologies. But in the chat, I've just linked to a vlog post that I made on YouTube. Every month, I share a new vlog of my behind the scenes content as an artist. You guys get to see pretty much what I'm up to every single day of the month, creating art for you guys, what it all entails, you know, how I manage being an artist, the behind the scenes challenges that includes and everything, and a little bit of my personal life as well. This month is going to have a lot of content on Goldfish, which is why I'm also drawing Goldfish for this month. So if you love Goldfish, definitely don't miss out on subscribing, because this month we'll have lots of videos of cute little wiggly goldfish and stories about them. I'm still getting to know these little guys. Since my old goldfish passed away, these have been introduced for about a week or so now. I think I picked them up last week. So I'm still getting to know them. I really want to tell you guys a bit about their personalities if I can, because each goldfish is actually super unique. I know a lot of people are going to be like, they're just fish, but trust me guys, goldfish have huge personalities. I am able to tell you stories about each one of my past goldfish, what they liked and disliked, what they did all day, how they interacted with me, how they interacted with other fish, who was their best friend, all these sorts of things. They are so individual. So I don't know if I'll be able to tell you guys enough about them in a month's time, but I will do my best, guys. I am watching them a lot every day, so I'm getting to know them as best I can. Your sister wants a fish like mine and the big eye ones. She definitely will love them. The one thing I will say, Jenny, and I'm not trying to scare you off, is just if you do get one, get a big tank like this. I started out with much smaller tanks, and there is a way you can keep them in small tanks. The problem with that is I have just had so many fish die in the past when I tried to keep them in smaller tanks, because you pretty much need to do a water change every single day, because the nitrates will just build up so much from their ammonia. And it just, to me, it just isn't worth it. But if your sister feels like she can do a daily water change with a smaller tank, then probably all will be fine. I just think it's too much work. This tank, I only need to do water changes on about twice a week. I can get away with doing a water change only once a week, so but I like to do it twice just because they love fresh water, and it's so much better for their health. Because basically, goldfish are breathing their environment, right? It's kind of like, can you imagine if you lived in your toilet and you pooped in it every single day and you couldn't flush, right? And let's say that was in a room, like a normal sized room for you, something equivalent to what it is for them. That poop smell would eventually pollute everything you breathe, and that is effectively what happens with them. Um, so yes, you can get away with a smaller tank. I did for some time, but I just felt it too much work. The first time I got one of the big ones, I just immediately decided I'm not doing it. I'm getting a big tank because it's too much work. All you breathe is farts all day. Exactly, exactly. So, um, these are also incredibly fragile fish. I have two tanks. I have a tropical fish tank, and then I have this one. And this one is the source of all my stress and anxiety. These fish, you look at them and they die. My tropical fish, they can live through a whole apocalypse and they will be fine. Probably not all tropical fish, but the ones that I keep at least are not nearly as fragile as these guys. And also, Jenny, best piece of advice I can give you is these ones I got from a very reputable breeder who cares about the fish's health. I bought a goldfish, I think about 2 months ago, from a local fish shop that is close to me. And the fish died in literally 2 or 3 days from a parasite infection. Not a parasite. There was nothing I could do for that fish. The fish was just already, doomed from the get-go. But if you buy from a place that cares about their health and well-being, it'll go so much better. I have had so few issues with these since I've gotten them. Bye, Alfie, hello! Thank you so much for the follow. She only had fish from the local fish shop and didn't live too long. It was sad. Yeah, it probably isn't even her fault. Like I said, I recently bought one and it died in 3 days. And if that happens and you've got, I tested that tank, the water conditions were all fine. There was no disease in that tank whatsoever. And I did see sick fish in that shop when I got there. And also the fish became incredibly gaunt. Like the look of the fish became incredibly gaunt very quickly. So in that case, it's nothing you did. The fish was just already unwell. And these fish are also, if they're not bred well, these particular breeds of goldfish, they have genetic problems. They already are genetically compromised fish, but if you don't get them from a good breeder, they aren't bred to be healthy. They are just bred to look cute, basically. And I think buying them from good breeders, you will be a lot better off. So you'll save yourself a lot of heartache. You may pay a little bit more, but you will definitely save yourself a ton of heartache. You, being in the States, can probably order from a guy called Luke Scoldies. I'm pretty sure he's either in Canada or in the States. No worries, Biofee. I will, he sells live fish on his website, and I know you'll probably be terrified of buying a fish, from an online store and getting it shipped to you. I was terrified of that too with these guys, but they pack them very well and they take very good care of them. And I have had way better luck, getting these home healthy and happy than I have from a pet shop and buying them locally. So if you have a local breeder that's really good, fantastic. But if you don't, try to find online goldfish breeders in your area. You will have much healthier fishies. It'll be so rewarding. I think the saddest thing I see in the fish hobby is people getting into it and then their fish dies because they get sick or something and they get so discouraged, they no longer, you know, maintain the hobby. And it's really sad because sometimes there's nothing you've done. But I hope your sister gets one. She will definitely love this cute little thing. You really should sleep. No worries, you get some sleep. We are going to raid, guys. How about we go to Feather? Think it's a good idea to go to Feather, guys? Let's go raid Cesar, my friend from university. We studied art together. And Cesar is working on a beautiful Pokemon acrylic painting. Cesar is actually trying to paint all the Pokemon imaginable in acrylics, guys. It's a huge project she's tackling, and I hope she gets it all done. It's going to take her apparently like 3 to 5 years to get through it all. So best of luck to her. Let's go give her some support, guys. And I will be streaming again tomorrow, guys. I'll double check whether it's slotted in my schedule. But I will be streaming tomorrow. So I'll see you guys rise and shine in the morning. Let's go.